Hey everybody, Barry here again. I was going to do this in separate segments, but I need to replace every seal that I can get my hands on inside this 4L80. The transmission is not ready to go back together yet. I'm still waiting on my steels, but when they come in, I can start putting stuff back together, so I may as well start doing seals now. And I'll start by doing the Teflon seals on the input shaft. So I designed these pieces. This is a cone, a resizing cone for the smaller seal on this end, resizing cone for the bigger seal on this end right here. And here is the resizer that after I get it stretched in the groove, push this one on over and it shrinks the seal to the appropriate size. I'm going to upload all this to Maker World in case you want to use it. Lots and lots of people do this, so maybe it'll help somebody out. Now, I just did this and I filmed a short and I posted that, but a lot of people like the long form video style, so let's do it again. Here's that new seal installed, so proof of concept is right there. It works perfectly. So I'm going to put this one aside for now. I do have the bigger cone printing for the big side over here, but it's not finished yet, so I'll do that after. So let's pull out our new seal. I'm going to put that one back so I don't lose it. So obviously we can see right here, it doesn't fit. It's like the same size as it should be. All right, so what I'm going to do first is take this thing and lube it up, make sure it's not going to be going on over that thing dry or anything. And just going to take my time, push it back, and just going to take my time. I may revise it just a little, resize this a little bit more or something like that, just to make it a bit easier. But so far it's working perfectly fine. So if something works fine, I don't usually want to mess with it. All right, so that one is on the end of the cone. That's on the flat there. And just gonna take this old seal. There we go. Split that one. They are pretty flexible. You can twist that all around and it doesn't break or anything, but you got to be careful to make sure these edges stay sharp. All right, and these edges here are sharp themselves, so you got to make sure that you don't push it too hard and end up scratching it or whatever, or damaging the seal. And it kind of shrunk in size real quick there, so just gonna let that relax for a minute. Somebody mentioned that I should make it like a cup that sits over this so you can slide it the whole way off right into the bore, and I think that's a good idea. I'm gonna see if I can do this. Get it over the end. Yeah, I think I'm going to go and revise this now because I'm worried that I'll get it over this land here and then it'll sink down into this like valley and then I'll have to stretch it back out over again. So if I print this guy again, like I can print it standing up like that and have the hollow here and push it right on over to there, I think that'll be great. I'm going to go and revise this and reprint it and we'll check back. This is the only seal I have now, so I don't want to mess this up and end up having to wait another 2 or 3 weeks for a new seal. So here is the cone that I've been using to resize the seals, and you can see right here it's solid. Now I've redesigned the cone so that I can pop this one off here, get a bit of lube on that one, and size it up over. And this should make my life a lot easier for installing the seal onto the second rib right here, or into the second groove, or whatever you want to call it. So now this one slides right past the first seal, and it could be a little touch longer. I'm not quite as far as I'd like to be, but I'll redesign that. I'm just gonna go and push it right past. Oh, look at that, man. Right into the groove. I got a little bit of dirt or something there. I'll get that out of the way. Oh yeah, that worked really well. And now I can go ahead and use my original resizer And this has a tapered end inside of here. And now I can get that one to shrink down a little bit just with my hands, kind of squish it in place. Because I don't want it to come out over, because it is quite a little bit bigger there. I'm just going to try to squish it down the most I can. Usually a minute or so of. All right, it's getting a lot closer. Now I take my tapered side, push it past the first one, and now into the second one. And you can see as I'm pushing it down, it's going to resize that seal. Just make sure it's not pinched anywhere. Yep, we're good. And just going to slowly work my way down. There we go. And I'm going to leave that resizer on there for probably 10 minutes just to make sure that it's not going to get, swell up or anything, and it's going to hold its shape. And that's that seal installed. And now for the big end, we're going to do the same thing, except I didn't want to design and print a tool that went all the way up here like a big long sleeve. So I made it in 2 pieces, and these taper fit together like that. So let's do this now in real time. I'm just going to pour some transmission fluid on there just to make sure it's not going to be dry or anything like that. Now it does get slippery, so take your time. But basically we just slide that seal on over here. This is like the PTFE or Teflon or whatever. It's the ones that everybody struggles with. And yeah, I've seen the videos on YouTube where people use funnels or a piece of a pop bottle and a hose clamp and all that stuff, and that works absolutely perfect. But I have access to a 3D printer, and I'm a novice at Fusion 360, so I can usually get away with designing relatively simple things, and I enjoy it. So I thought, hey, why not? And just going to work this up. Just take your time, don't push it because it can break, but they do have some forgiveness. So just working my way across here, and now in a second it's going to come up on that flat and just slide across real quick. There we go. Look at that. It's resized. It didn't crack. Nothing's damaged or anything like that. And one thing that's cool is I made it a taper fit so that I can just transfer it. Now, I haven't tried this yet, but there's no reason it shouldn't work. I just gotta get used to the tool, that's all. And I made sure not to remove these seals in case I do break one of these, then that way at least I still have the old ones on there and I'm not stuck. Okay, it's gonna take a second, no doubt. Just gotta push it past the grooves. There we go, look at that. Got it on the sleeve, beautiful. And now the beauty of this thing is I can push it the whole way past all the stuff that can hurt it. Now this one is a little tight on this original seal that's there. I'm going to try to get it to the back seal, even though I don't know if I will. Okay, not going to bother. So what I'll do is I'm going to have to break both seals now and just basically risk it. All right, there's that one dead. I don't like to back myself into a corner if I don't have to, but sometimes that's what you get. And when I get more comfortable with this, I'm sure it won't be that big of a deal anyway. Okay, a little transmission fluid around there. Okay, and slip that one over there. Yeah, there we go. Look at that. Slips right up where it needs to be. So now I can just push that seal up here, let it fall into the groove. And I'm just going to let that one sit for a second just so it can sort of shrink back down to its size. It's not going to shrink much. I do have a resizing tool for that. But I'll just let it relax for a minute anyway, at least. And I'll grab the second seal. I know you can buy this tool on Amazon for like $45, well, Canadian anyway, a lot cheaper in the US, I'm sure. And I don't know, I just like to learn new stuff and make what I can, and I don't want to wait 2 weeks for it to get here. Now this one is quite a bit bigger now, so I may have to kind of persuade it down a little bit. It's quite a bit bigger, so I might have to kind of squish it back down. Not being very aggressive with it because I don't want to damage it. It's crazy how something so rigid can expand up so much and then shrink back down without breaking. So I've got a short tapered end and a long tapered end, as you can see there. And I'm going to use the long tapered end for at least what I can. And you can see down inside of here that it's just about the perfect size that it needs to be. So I'm going to push it just a little bit. Oh, gotta squish it in a little more. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay, it's starting to take shape. I can feel it going past the end. It's definitely down in the bore. Ah, there we go. Got it. Look at that. Well, that's the inner one installed, and that's going to be probably the hardest one. So I'm going to leave that for a while, and then I'll do the second one, which I already have sizing right there. This is hard work, man. Ah, there we go. Right in place. Look at that. Beautiful. And now this one is already installed, but I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on there. Now the seals are protected. I can put it back in the bag until I'm ready to use it. Beautiful. And now that that's done, I can move along. All right, I have this guy right here. I've actually already replaced the seals before. I said, hey, I probably should video this, you know, keep the ball rolling and stuff like that. So here are the 4 seals I took off. They're extremely easy to replace because they have this notch right here where you can open them up. All I did was unhook them, took them all off. Now you can see that I have one empty land right here, and that's because I'm not putting that second seal from the top back on because I'm doing the dual feed direct drum mod and all that stuff, and it requires me to leave that one. Now in this kit, there are these 4 seals right here. Those are more of the PTFE seals. And according to the little instruction thing that came in that piece, it says this kit contains 2 sets of sealing rings for the center support. That's this one right here. The solid Teflon rings were OEM from 91 to 97. The plastic rings, the splits like I have, are 98 up. Experience has shown either ring type can be used for all model years depending on the builder's preference. I prefer things to be easier, so that's what I'm going to use. I will keep these just, you know, because why wouldn't I? And there's more of these PTFE seals. For what they are, I really don't know, but I will find out when I get further into the build, I guess. So that was easy enough. I got those replaced. Let's move on to this guy. It's kind of hard to keep track of all this because of all the modifications I'm doing. Generally, you would replace the O-ring here and here. Because I'm doing a D1 trans brake, it said to take these 2 O-rings out, throw them away, don't replace them. But I still have to replace the accumulator piston seal out here. Now I've got this big old seal kit here, and now I've just got to find the correct one, which I'm going to say is probably this one, actually. That's a square seal. It's not a lip seal like a couple of these are. And I bet it's going to be the right size. And yeah, look at that, dead on. I'll just double check, make sure there's no more there that seem to be the right size, and there is not. All right, just squish that out. Verify. Yep, this one is stretched out a little bit, but it's still fine. Make sure it's good and clean. And yep, that goes right in there. There's no sharp edges on this that I'm worried about, so I'm not worried about nicking it. Now when I go to install this into the transmission, of course I'll lube it up. But right now, essentially, I just want to keep it clean and dry. So that one is serviced. And while I'm putting it in the bag, I'm going to put the new seal or new gasket for that one here as well. Just going to put that down there. Verify that was the correct gasket. Yep. And that all goes back in the bag. Next up, we've got the pump seals. These are more of those split lock type. There's that one. These can be a little finicky to get off sometimes, but with a little pick, it helps quite a lot. Now, before I reinstall the new seals on here, I gotta check something because it's kind of making me nervous. I installed a Sonax boost valve in here, and it's got 2 O-rings, and right here, the bore, you can hear it, is real jagged, and when I was kind of punching it in, I had to give it a little tap with a hammer, but it worried me that the O-rings were going up against this sharpness here. So I'm gonna go and pull that back out just to make absolutely sure the O-ring is not torn. Because it would absolutely kill me to have issues with this because I didn't double check my work. And somebody brought up in a video, actually the video where I did this, and they said you really should put the hammer down, put away the hammer, because it's not, it can cause some damage, and I definitely don't want that. So I just want to double check, make sure everything is good. I'm not going to go crazy prying on anything here, just inspect that. And the O-ring looks absolutely fine. Beautiful. That's good. That's very good to know. So that's verified. So I'm just going to put that back in. There we go. Lose the valve. Very good job. Okay. Now this is tight going into the bore, so I may need to use the hammer again. Oh, maybe I won't. Look at that. I didn't need to use it at all. Wow. I think I was right. Now, this is kind of unhandy. There we go. All right. He did say that everything should be done by hand, and well, there you are. There we go. So, I'm gonna push that one down the rest of the way. Man, that is no fun at all. That one, make sure it's fully seated, because if not, it'll blow off and lose a bunch of pressure. All right. Yep, verified, double checked. Everything is good. Now, back to the task at hand, which is these 2 seals here. I'm just going to double check the size. Yep, that's the one there. And that's the one there. New one back in the bag. Old ones go over here. Yep, everything looks good. These are pretty tough seals. These are way tougher than the PTFE ones, or the solid ones at least, I should say. Beautiful. All right, and Being careful not to lose my thrust plate there. And this pump is not done actually, because I need to get that big O-ring. All right. And there is one more O-ring that I have to put out here that seals in the torque converter, but that's not going to be yet because, of course, I don't have the input shaft in. I cannot get that out of there. There we go. So here's the big O-ring. Move those out of the way again. Stay. All right, and that one has a white paint mark around the outside. This one has yellow. I'm sure color doesn't matter, but that looks to be the right one. Just gonna feed that one around here like that. Just like any old job. Actually, I feel like I should do it from the bottom side because it won't have as far a stretch to get it in there. Gonna feed that one on. It doesn't seem to have a chamfer any sort of way, so looks like it'll just go wherever I want to put it. Okay. Nice. No tears, no issues. And I've got the front seal to install. All right, 3 different seals. This one here, I'm gonna say is the rear output shaft seal. This one falls right in, so that should be the tail shaft seal for like the 2-wheel drive. Now mine's a 4-wheel drive, so I'm gonna say I don't use that one, but we'll get that far in a minute. And here is the gravy. Great. And just by chance, I have a piece of 3-inch stainless pipe that fits there absolutely perfect. Now I wanted to address before I go too far, I'm not going to use any RTV on this. I know some people do, some don't. I really don't want to risk any excess being squeezed down in around the pump, so I'm going to install this dry. I always install seals dry anyway like this because of that main reason, but I like to use RTV on gaskets and stuff like that. And I've got this piece of just 1/8 plate here that'll keep it nice and square, and I'm going to get my earmuffs. Beautiful. Seal is all installed. So that means the oil pump is done. And I also printed this little cover that I can slip on over there just to protect those seals until I'm ready to put the transmission together. I'm kind of sort of learning as I go here, and I know most of the seals where they go, or at least some of them, and I'm kind of working my way through this kit. And this one here is the output shaft seal. A seal driver is not something that I have, but I really need to start looking into. Don't lose that one there. Because, yeah, exhaust pipe and all that stuff is fine, it'll work, but it's not ideal. Straight. Drive it in until it stops. There we go. And then don't forget the snap ring. And this is a 4-wheel drive, so I don't replace the plug back here. The 2-wheel drive uses a piece with a little oiling hole right there in the middle that lubes up the yoke bushing, but the 4-wheel drive doesn't use that. Next up is the shifter shaft seal, which I just dropped. And for this one, I have a 1/2-inch socket, which looks like it's going to be perfect. So I'm just going to put that one in there sort of square. Don't pop back out on me. And now that I have the seal installed, I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back in there. So I'm just gonna lay you right there for a sec. A little bit of assembly lube, stop that from tearing up the seal. Alrighty. Oh yeah, that fit really nice actually. That one goes which way? This way. You go in there and you go in there like that. Don't forget the nut. And just make sure that's all the way in where it needs to be. There we go. Don't just whack stuff with the hammerberry. It made the right dink sound, so we know that bottomed out, and now I gotta tighten up the nut. Now, no doubt there's a torque spec on this, but how am I supposed to do that with a claw and wrench? Click, click. Yeah. Beautiful. Oh yeah, there's part. Sweet. So that all works. New seal is installed. I don't have a neutral safety switch yet. I need to pick up one of those because mine was broken into a bunch of pieces. In the kit, I also noticed a little baby filter, and that one goes right down through here and presses in right there like that. So I'm just gonna give that one a little teensy bit of persuasion there. That looks perfect. Next up, dipstick tube seal. Man, that was the easiest part of the whole rebuild. Look at that. Then we have the oil pickup tube seal. Basically, what I did here was grabbed a socket, put it upside down. It sits nice and flat up against that flange. And I'm just gonna pop that one in there nice and square. Now I looked at this little filter that I installed earlier, and I had to come back and double check my work. You can see that when I installed it, it's pretty much flush with the casting. And I've got this other ADE over here, and I wanted to double check. And you can see that it's about 1/8 of an inch recessed down into the case. So I'm gonna duplicate that. It might never be a big deal and it might never cause a problem, but, oh geez, that was really easy to push down there. Okay, well now it's down there. Well, at least now I know that it's the same as a factory one anyway. The kind of difficult part about all this is I'm not extremely well versed in rebuilding these transmissions. This is like the second one that I've been inside of ever. And the seal kit, none of it is labeled. So I gotta take my time and double check and triple check and make sure what I'm doing is accurate. So I'm gonna go and take out the solenoids. There are 4. And I'll change the O-rings on those because no doubt there are O-rings on them. All right, and T27 socket for these. Okay, in this orientation, the one with the pinkish color connector is on the left. Maybe I'll just do one at a time. So there's no filter behind that one. Okay, doesn't seem to be any O-rings in there, little small ones at least. So I'm gonna say they're gonna be in this one. So I'll just
pull it off of that one and then compare. So that one is too big, that one is too thick. That one's kind of freaky, it's got like a flange on it. I'm thinking it might be that one. Yep, that looks right. That's the old one. I just went over and double checked the video and I actually threw away the new one. Always double check. So here's the old one. I'm gonna put that aside. And here is the new one. There's a screen on that. It does look really clean. A little bit of clean ATF. There we go. And do it all over again. The nice thing is there's no metal or anything on these pieces, so that's always good. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna throw that one away because I know that one's the old one now. And there's no filter behind there. I'll torque these in a second when I get them all replaced. That one's just got a clip on it. And that one doesn't actually have any seals. It's got two little filters, but I don't see that in my kit. And by the looks of it, they're probably not replaceable. Now, which way does this go again? Well, I had to reference my video again. It goes like sideways, like that. There we go. I got it wrong. It actually points down. And I'll check this one. I don't know if there's an O-ring on it or not. Hey, there's two O-rings on that one. A little screen. And it looks like one O-ring is bigger than the other. There's the top. And there's the bottom. So that's the top one. I'll throw that away. And then this does look like the bottom one. That one looks the same. I just want to make sure I don't get the wrong one in there and end up with a O-ring that's too thick or something. And that one is bigger. Yeah, I'll go with one of these. Alrighty. we go. That one's popped down there. And this is where I put in the AFL repair kit the other day. Now, let's see if I can find where that... Oh, I was wondering what was rattling. It's a little check ball right there. So I can see where the filter is, and it's actually behind the solenoid that I just had out, by the looks of it. And here's the filter. Geez, I don't know, man. That almost looks too big to go in there. But let's pull it out and see. Oh, never mind. That is the solenoid. I'll just pop that one back in again. Now where does this guy go? I don't see it. There's the filter here, which is attached to that solenoid. There's a filter that's attached to that one. Here's the manual selector, unless it's right there. You know what? I think it is. And you can't see. But yeah, it's in this hole right here. I can see the little window that's in this one. Alright, so that means I need to pop out a little roll pin. And it does go all the way through, so that's good. Let's see if it'll come out. Nope, let's go the other way. That's better. No. Just gonna poke the screwdriver behind here. Don't want to pry on the case. That would be bad. Oh, I wonder if I can push it through with the selector. Nope. But I should be able to pop a long extension in there though. And again, you can't see what I'm doing. So here we go. Let's try it this way. Be real careful not to mark anything up. There we go. All right. So it's a little slug of aluminum. There's the filter. It goes in that direction. That one is pretty dirty. Look at that. Wow. Glad it comes with it in the kit. And I'm gonna say it's gonna be this O-ring right here. And grease this one up. That one goes back in the same direction. I'm just gonna give it a little tiny tap. Just a little persuasion tap. There we go. And the roll pin. Doesn't want to go in straight. Oh, there we go. I got it. Beautiful. That's good. Now the selector valve again. Sweet. So I have replaced the two O-rings here. The one O-ring, I don't know if there was one on either one of these, I can't remember now. The filter is done. That's nice. And as far as I can tell, the valve body is finished. Got all the bolts tightened down on the solenoid, so I know that's good. The next one is right here. This is on the extension housing, and if it was a two-wheel drive, it would have, you know, the long output shaft housing there. But this thing is going to be four-wheel drive, or all full-time all-wheel drive. So it uses this little short guy. All right, so that's done, and I guess I could theoretically just go and bolt that on now, but I'm going to leave it off for now. It's probably going to end up being more in the way than anything else. I do have to do end play testing and stuff, so I think it'd be better just to leave that off. But I thought I'd put the seal on there because that's one less in the bag now. Some more seals that are in the kit that I'm not going to be using, and I bet a couple of them are going to be inside this accumulator housing down here. I'm not using that. I've got a block off plate coming, so that's two more seals that I won't have to use. Valve body is bagged up. On to the next one. 10-second overview on this here. These are the two harnesses from the 4L80s that I pulled apart. This one is disgusting and nasty, so I didn't even bother to test that one. I ohmed out every wire here from the pin out to the end of the connector. Every one of them had like 0.1 ohm, so that's perfect. Temperature sensor down here had just a little bit less ohms than this one. Now that runs by temperature, so it's not like you can ohm it out and it be like wrong, I guess, unless it was open, which it was not. It did have resistance. Then I checked the pressure manifold, and I did clean it up because it was a little bit cruddy looking. So basically you just put your ohmmeter or multimeter across these two terminals and push down here, that's the switch, and check continuity across each one of those terminals. And all of these just had like half an ohm or 1 or 2 ohms or something like that between them all, so that was perfectly fine. So this manifold switch is good. So this is a couple snap rings that I have. This is the intermediate snap ring. This one here is for the Sprag and the direct clutch. I wanted to get the upgrade ones, and the spiral lock one was a good price, so I grabbed that one. This is a snap ring that's the whole way around. It's like a spiral lock, so you kind of whirl it in. Anyway, I'll show it later when I install it. That's not gonna be in this video, but this one here, I'll install right now. Man, I gotta say, I absolutely love building something with all new parts and everything being nice and fresh and clean. I'm really not used to it. I'm used to like junkyard LS stuff and things being worn out or half broken and just being essentially junk. But this transmission thing, yeah, you can't mess around with it, Alright, so we'll pop that snap ring out, and I'll compare it to the snap ring that I have there. There we go. Alright, so that's the old snap ring. I'm going to pull this Sprag up out of it just to make sure there's no seals or anything in under there. And there are not, but one thing I'm going to do, because I cleaned all these parts a little while ago, and I had to put them back together without assembly lube because I didn't have any at the time. And it since came in, so I'm just going to run some around here. Some in around the Sprag. Oh, that was scary. Be nice. That one goes like that, and the way we know that it's correct is it'll rotate clockwise, but won't rotate counterclockwise. Now, paint some more of that down in there, get it in around all those Sprag wheels or whatever you want to call them, just so it's not going to be a dry start. That one, and now that one, and then the new snap ring. Now I don't have my steels yet, so I won't be able to install those, meaning I won't be able to put the transmission back together. so I won't be able to use that intermediate snap ring today. But look at this. We can see that there's a pretty good gap between these ends here, and that one is nice and tight. So whether that means this snap ring is worn out or not, I don't know, but it came with the kit, so I'm going to use it. And we can see here that this is what the spiral lock looks like. It makes 2 complete turns and it's fully captured. So I'm going to try to route it so that it comes up where the tab is right here, where I can grab it with a screwdriver. And yeah, that'll work just fine. Beautiful. All right. Now again, I don't have my steels, so there's nothing I can do with this, which is unfortunate because I'd love to be able to put it all together. But that'll have to come at another time. To be honest, I'm kind of grasping at straws right now for what else I need to replace. I know there's pistons that have seals, but in mine they all seem to be bonded, and I can't replace the seals. So I'm not sure if I'm pretty much finished, but there's an awful lot left in my container. So if there's anything that you know that I didn't replace, please let me know. I would really like to know that. That connector is actually in really nice shape. Even inside looks really good. And this is the new seal. Yeah, the old one's over there. Get that on over those tabs. I've seen a lot of people recommend changing this harness, but I mean, I owned it out and everything's fine, so I don't think that's necessary in my case. All right, that was good. I'm not going to put this harness back in right now because I'm not going to do that pretty much until last, because I'm 100% sure that I'll go to put the valve body on and I'll nip a wire or something dumb like that, or I'll end up dropping something and squatting a connector, and I just don't want to do that. So I'll button that back up. Also, side note, in the direct drum, I did the dual feed mod, so I removed the lip seal that was in under the piston, so I don't need to replace that one. And I don't have new pistons, so I really don't want to go and mess with the old ones and take them out and end up ripping a seal and having to buy new pistons, so I'm just going to leave all that as it is. But I think I'm done with the seal kit. Again, if you see something that you know that I missed, or if I didn't show it, please let me know, because there's still a whole bunch of stuff here that I have not used, and it makes me kind of nervous to have this much stuff left over. I'm going to assume these are like lip seals for maybe the old style 4L80 pistons that have changeable lip seals, because that's what that looks like. But please let me know.
So as far as right now, I'm all done for today because I'm still waiting on steels to come in. I still have some cleaning to do and putting everything together with assembly lube. That way it doesn't have any dry starts, that kind of thing. But as for putting all the seals and stuff in, all done. So thanks for checking out the channel. Thanks to my YouTube members, patrons, and subscribers. If you want to check out my Patreon, it's patreon.com/stationroadratrods. YouTube members link is down here. And thanks for watching. Have a great day, everybody.